अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
अस्सलामुअलैकुम मैम।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम। अच्छा भाई, क्या किया था लास्ट टाइम बेटा? फॉर्मूला मेकिंग।
या
ओके, सो लास्ट वन वी वर डिस्कसिंग वाज अमोनियम। ठीक है, याद है ये? क्या वैलेंसी निकली थी भाई अमोनियम की?
इनकी निकली थी 3 पॉजिटिव।
द फर्स्ट वन इज 3 प्लस 3।
या पॉजिटिव 3।
दैट मीन्स इट इज गोइंग टू लूज 3 इलेक्ट्रॉन।
या
और लास्ट शेल में इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन के अकॉर्डिंग लास्ट शेल में कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन आ रहे थे?
5।
5। तो हाउ आर दे गोइंग टू लूज 3 इलेक्ट्रॉन इफ दे आर हैविंग 5?
या दैट आई didn't understand that.
Yeah, so what was the valency? Plus,
Valency was +3.
it would be plus 5. How? Because nitrogen is having 7 atomic number. Here you gotta place 2 electrons, and then in the last outermost shell we have 5, right? So they are going to lose 5 electron. And we are considering the positive valency. Why? Because it is more electropositive than hydrogen. Hydrogen is slightly electronegative. ठीक है?
या
तो हाइड्रोजन की वैलेंसी कितनी हुई फिर यहाँ पे?
यहाँ पे आई थिंक इट विल बी -4.
Yes, it will be -4. So overall valency of ammonium would be,
It will be, wait,
to solve this, +5 and -4 equals to what?
it will be minus +1
Exactly,
positive.
exactly. So what would be the formula of ammonium sulfate? What is the formula for sulfate?
Is it S?
Mhm. S and
SO2.
SO4, ठीक है? SO4 is sulfate and SO2 जो होती है सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड गैस, ठीक है? और सल्फेट में भी वी हैव फर्स्ट वन इज सल्फाइड. सल्फाइड मीन्स लास्ट में जिसका सफिक्स है, सफिक्स वुड बी IDE, सल्फाइड. ये सल्फाइड क्या होता है? इट्स जस्ट S, सल्फर लगा हुआ होता है सर. और अगर सल्फाइड है यानी डी की जगह टी आ जाता है, सल्फाइड, देन वी हैव SO3, right? And if you are talking about sulfate, then the formula is SO4. Just calculate the valency of SO4 and let me know. Sulfur belongs to which group?
Sulfur belongs to 6 group.
Hmm. So valency of sulfur would be,
6.
is it
Or
going
no,
to, yeah,
it will be 2.
would that be 2? It is going to gain 2 electron,
Yeah, it is going to gain 2 electrons, which will be
but
negative.
okay. So are we going to consider the negative valency of sulfur or the positive one?
I think it will be the positive one because oxygen is more electrically positive.
Exactly, exactly. So what would be the positive valency of sulfur?
So the positive is plus positive 6,
Positive 6. Perfect. And what about oxygen?
-4,
-4.
or -2.
एक ऑक्सीजन की होती है -2. सही.
Yeah,
4 की कितनी होगी?
-8.
-8. What would be the overall valency?
Overall valence will be, it is like giving 4. It is giving the whole octet.
See, if you are talking about one oxygen, it is having 6 electron in the last shell, right?
Yeah, but if it is -8, so there will be 0 in the outermost
Why?
shell.
We are going to solve +6 and -8. What would be the answer?
It will be -2.
Exactly. So the overall valency of sulfate is -2,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so ammonium is +1 and sulfate is -2. What would be the formula?
The formula of sulfate,
Yes,
like
ammonium sulfate, like the whole compound, ammonium sulfate.
it will be N4 and then H.
NH4, SO4, right?
Yeah,
That's it. That's the formula.
I think it is.
We have -2 here and we have +1 here. The crossover method. What would be the crossover method and what would be the formula then?
It will be N2H4
We are
SO4.
gonna write it like that. Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that would be the formula of ammonium sulfate. What is ammonium sulfate?
It
Like
is
how do you categorize ammonium sulfate?
like solid liquid gas.
No, not the physical state. Like if it is an acid or a base, maybe a salt. What is it?
Ammonia. It is the salt,
Ammonia is a
right?
gas. Ammonia is a gas. That's fine. But we are talking about ammonium, and we have discussed it in the yesterday's class. Okay?
Ammonium is the salt, right?
Exactly. Ammonium is a salt, and sulfate is also a salt. Wherever you see the sulfate formula of sulfate as -1, that means it's a salt. Okay? Any formula having ATE in the suffix, like sulfate, phosphate, nitrate, then we have carbonate, all of them are salt. सॉल्ट की इंडिकेशन ही ये रिप्रेजेंट ही ऐसे होता है कि सफिक्स में यू हैव 8, right? Okay, so let's practice again about regarding the formula. Write down the formula of aluminium phosphate. What is the formula of phosphate?
I don't know.
Okay, phosphate, phosphorus
P
obviously
then
P.
phosphate
Yeah,
and then wait.
phosphide is P again with IDE suffix. Okay, it is phosphide. Then we have phosphite,
Here
and
it
then
will be PO3.
PO3 is phosphite, like with the T. Okay,
Alright.
and what about phosphate?
PO4.
PO4. ठीक है, calculate the valency of phosphate. जी.
Wait, I am doing it. Wait.
Okay, phosphorescent group.
It is an like it the valency of phosphate would be +1.
+1. Okay, what about phosphorus? In which group it is?
It is in fifth group.
Exactly. So the last shell containing 5 valence electron. What would be the valency in positive terms? Obviously, we have to consider the positive ion.
Yeah, it will be +5.
Okay, perfect. What about oxygen?
It will be -4.
-4
Yeah.
or -8?
Mm, -8.
Exactly, because one oxygen is having -2 valency, right? So four of them would be having -8. Just solve them.
It will be -3.
Exactly. So the valency of phosphate is -3. What about aluminium?
It has -3.
Aluminium is -3.
No, wait, it is.
Take your time, it's fine. Just look at the group in which aluminium is present,
It will be 3
like +3, right?
positive.
So they will be cancelled out,
Yeah.
and the formula is AlPO4. That's it. Okay. And
Okay.
what about aluminium sulfate? If you are replacing phosphate with sulfate, then what will be the formula?
The aluminum will have +3, right?
Right.
And then
Mm,
SO4 will be having -2. So it
yeah.
will cross it.
Mm.
Al will be having negative no, 2
There
to
will be
power
no
like.
sign. When we are putting number over here, there will be no sign. Okay.
Okay, it will be
So
2, right? And
mm,
then
Al2.
the 4 will be, it will be multiplied by 3, so it will be SO12.
Yes. So we are gonna write it like that. Just make the
Okay.
bracket first, ठीक है? Bracket के बाहर हम 3 लगा देंगे. So Al2SO4 is the formula for aluminum sulfate.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to give you like 5 or 10 of the formulas. Just write it down in your in wordings, right? And then that would be your homework. So number one is magnesium sulfate. Just write in the short form for now and do it later at home. Magnesium sulfate.
Yeah.
Number two is zinc phosphate. Zinc phosphate.
Okay.
Then we have ferrous hydroxide. Ferrous hydroxide. Ferrous is iron. Okay, what is the difference between ferrous and ferric?
What?
What is the difference between ferrous and ferric?
I think the physical state is different.
Their oxidation state is different. That means the valency. Ferrous is +2 and ferric is +3. And these are all the transition metals. If you are talking about iron and zinc, then obviously they are transition metals, and one of the properties of transition metal is they are having multiple oxidation states. So if you're talking about iron, obviously the Latin name of iron or the chemical name of iron is either ferrous or ferric. If it is ferrous, then we have +2 valency. If it is ferric, then we have +3 valency, right? And same
Wait,
goes for, so
wait,
yeah,
what did you wrote like Ferris, like in the homework? Ferris what?
ferrous nitrate. I have given you ferrous hydroxide, right?
I just wrote
Ferrous
Ferris. Um,
hydroxide. Okay, just write it down. What is hydrox? What is the formula for hydroxide?
it is HO2.
OH. It's OH,
Uh,
right? Can you calculate the valency of OH?
O will be having -2,
Negative.
or it will be having +6.
Okay, so when we calculate OH, the overall valency is -1. The reason is we are considering, it's just the exception you can say, okay? We are considering +2 here and -1 here. And the overall result would be, okay,
Wouldn't it be having -2?
Wait a second, let me just do it again for you. Okay, when we talk about हाइड्रोक्साइड फॉर्मूला मैंने बताया था आई थिंक ऑर्गेनिक नहीं आपको ऑर्गेनिक अभी नहीं करवाई थी हाइड्रोक्साइड कैन ईदर बी हाइड्रोक्साइड विद मेटल or hydroxide with carbon. If it is write this point. If hydroxide is combined with carbon, they are called as alcohol. ठीक है which you are gonna learn later. But organic जब शुरू होगी तो आपको दोबारा ये चीज़ समझ आ जाएगी. लेकिन अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं हाइड्रो ऑक्साइड की OH की कार्बन के साथ, ठीक है कार्बन के साथ बॉन्डेड है, तो इट इज कॉल्ड एज एल्कोहल. फिर ये हाइड्रो ऑक्साइड नहीं होता, ये एल्कोहल कहलाता है. बट इफ दिस हाइड्रो ऑक्साइड इज बॉन्डेड विद सोडियम और एनी अदर मेटल, it's just hydroxide then, and the valency is -1. How? Because OH के अंदर जो ज्यादा इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिव एलिमेंट है it would be ऑक्सीजन और हाइड्रोजन. what would it be?
But can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Okay, the question was, if I'm talking about hydroxide and the valency is, wait a second, and the valency is -1, right?
Yeah,
OH, the valency is -1. ये मैं आपको बता रही हूँ कि it's -1. So which one is more electronegative here, oxygen or hydrogen?
hydrogen.
Are you sure about that? That's the exception. That's the exception here, because oxygen is more electronegative than hydrogen. When we are talking about hydroxide, the case is kind of reversed, or you can just write it down as an exception, then that oxygen is more electronegative. So we are sticking with the same valency as we already have done uh, the electronic configuration of oxygen. So we were having 6 electrons in the last shell, 2 would be gained by it. So this is the only exception we are having right now. So -2 is the valency. Why? Because oxygen is more electronegative, and we are going to consider the negative valency of oxygen and the positive valency of hydrogen. -2 and +1. The answer would be,
But you wrote like before that you wrote positive two with
yeah,
oxygen.
just erase that and consider this one, right? It would be -2 here, not positive, because of the reason that oxygen is more electronegative than hydrogen. But when we compare nitrogen and oxygen,
That
yeah.
in like formulas, the like the element written like before
Hmm.
like electropositive and then after that it will be negative.
Yeah, that's the usual case, right? But we have exception here. We are not considering that case right now. There is an exception. Why? Because of the electro difference in electronegativity series. We have the values of electronegative elements, and it's going to be like 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. There are so many values every element has got regarding their electronegativities. So in this case, in hydroxide, we are having oxygen as more electronegative element. That is the reason why we are considering -2. But in other cases, we have done before, like here in phosphate, obviously oxygen was more electronegative than phosphorus. So we considered the negative valency here and positive here. And even when we talked about this one, ammonium, nitrogen became electropositive and hydrogen became electronegative. But in this case, hydroxide, we have oxygen as electronegative and hydrogen as electropositive. And even if you're not going to remember this one, just remember the overall valency -1. That would be fine. Even if you don't remember the whole reason and the whole method behind this, just remember the valency of hydroxide. It is always going to be -1. You get that?
No,
And there was another point I mentioned, that if this OH is bonded with carbon, right?
it will be known as alcohol.
Sorry?
It will be known as alcohol.
Exactly. Okay, what is the valency of carbon?
I think it is 8. Wait, no, it is -2.
Just check the group number. Is it
4.
4? Yeah, it's 4. That means carbon is able to make bond with 4 different atoms, right?
Yeah.
But here I'm only bonding this carbon with hydroxide. That means three more atoms can be added to it. Three more atoms can be bonded with carbon, and that would always going to be hydrogen. That is what you're gonna learn later in organic chemistry, but I'm just giving you an example of OH. If carbon is bonded with hydroxide, it is going to be alcohol. But if this hydroxide is bonded with any metal, literally any metal, like sodium, like potassium, like magnesium, aluminium, anyone. Obviously, it is going to be called as hydroxide. Valencies would be same, minus one here, minus one here. It would be always going to be same, right? Going to be same.
So
Okay.
like you said ferrous hydroxide, right?
Yeah, hydroxide.
So like hydroxide will be having -1 and then
Yes. Overall valency is minus one. Whether it is bonded with any metal or carbon, doesn't matter. The name is different. Here it is alcohol, here it is hydroxide, but the valency would be same.
yeah,
Okay. So what was the last one I gave you? The ferrous hydroxide, right?
yeah.
Okay. After that, just write it down. Um. Okay. Cuprous, cuprous oxide. What is cuprous?
I'm hurting it for the first
You
time.
never heard it before?
No.
Okay. What about copper?
Yeah, I have heard.
Okay. So this is actually the form of copper, cuprous or cupric. Again, there is a difference in valency, right? So cuprous are always going to be plus 2 and cupric is always going to be plus 3, because of the obviously these are transition metals, and transition metals are having variety of oxidation states. I mean, they are having variable oxidation states, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 1. That means copper can have two, or maybe actually not two but three. We have cuprum as well. I'm gonna erase this. So maybe first let's do this one. Cuprum is plus 1. Then we have cuprous plus 2, cupric plus 3, right? So what was the compound I gave you? Cuprous oxide. And the next one would be aluminium nitrate. What is nitrate?
Is it like are you asking like their physical state?
No, like what is the formula?
Is it N
Hmm.
N NH? What is that?
Okay, tell me the formula of nitrogen dioxide.
It is NO2, right?
NO2, yes. So when you're talking about nitrate, it would be
NO3.
NO3. Yes, exactly. And what do you think what nitrate is? Like solid, liquid, gas?
Like oxygen is with it, right? So will it be like gas or something?
Because of the presence of oxygen, is it going to be gas always?
No, so is it liquid?
What about nitrogen dioxide?
What?
What about nitrogen dioxide, the physical state?
I think it is gas.
It's a gas, yes. But when we talk about nitrate, can you
Is it solid?
recognize this the suffix here? Nitrate.
Oh, salt.
Yeah, it's a salt, right? So whenever we are having ate as a suffix, it's a salt. Straight answer. Would it be? It can be a nitrate. It can be phosphate, sulfate, and then there are carbonate. What is the formula for carbonate? What is carbon dioxide?
Carbon or CO2?
CO2,
Carbonate would
carbonate,
be CO3.
CO3. Very good. Can you calculate the valency for me? Nitrate and carbonate. Then we'll go forward with the another topic.
So, so it will be
Just take your time. Just look for the group numbers, right? Calculate and let me know.
I think
Hmm.
carbonate it will be uh, -1
Okay, what is carbon? What is the valency for carbon here in carbonate?
is a +5
Five?
because I think because like oxygen will be -6 according to my solution.
That's that's right. Yes, but what about carbon?
So because it is very electrically negative, so I wrote +5 over there.
Okay, just tell me the group number of carbon.
Is 4.
So what will be the valency?
4.
Exactly. How can it be five?
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Carbon is always going to be four. Either it can be +4 or -4.
Yeah.
Right? So
So
what will be
it's
the
going
valency?
-2.
Yeah,
Negative.
-2. What about nitrate? Calculate this.
That one will be +5 and then
Hmm.
-6 and then
Hmm.
it will be negative
Very good.
1.
Perfect. So we have formula here. Is what was last one? Nitrate.
What? I'm
What was the
sorry.
last one I gave you? The formula?
Uh, it is ammonium nitrate.
Ammonium nitrate. ठीक है एक ये हो गया ammonium nitrate. Next one would be sodium carbonate. Sodium
Okay.
after sodium carbonate, write down the formula of okay transition metals दे सकते हैं हम. You know what transition metals are except for the property that they are having variable oxidation states. You know what they are? What is the difference?
Like I don't know. Like I did in ninth class. It was like a two-line definition. I
Hmm.
don't remember that, but it was like different from all the groups and periods.
Okay. So the major difference between metals and transition
They
metals are
have
the
metals
yeah
and they normally have metals or like non-metals mainly.
they all are metals, right?
Uh,
Transition metals are obviously they are metals, they are electropositive element, but they are less reactive as compared to the metals present in group 1A, 2A, and 3A. That is a major difference between them. Metals, sodium, potassium, lithium, then we have magnesium, we have calcium, aluminium, all of those metals which are present in 1A, 2A, and 3A group are more reactive than the transition metals, right?
yeah.
And two major properties transition metals have. First one is variable oxidation state. They can have more than one oxidation state, +1, +2, +3, anyone. And the other major property is they are colored substances. They give color to the compound. They are colored compound itself. When they are involved in the chemical reaction, they obviously are going to give colored PPT, precipitates, okay? So they are colored compounds.
So the elements which are like not transition
They
elements,
don't
right?
they don't give any color. They are colorless. Okay. Okay, the last formula would be okay, cobalt chloride. Cobalt is COBALT, cobalt. Okay, let me tell you the valency as well. Cobalt is +2. See? And then we have chloride, and then you know what we have to do to make the formula. So how many of the formulas I have given you? Five?
Six,
Six,
7.
seven. Okay, all right. So we are winding up this topic and moving on to the next one. Okay, have you done the electronic configuration yesterday? All of them, all of the criteria according to which we were doing the electronic configuration.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are moving on to the next topic, which is free radical. I'm gonna give you some more homework probably next week regarding electronic configuration because we have to be in practice for that. Okay, wait a second. Okay, meanwhile, you can just try and make those formulas which I have just given you, right? I'm
Okay.
just gonna look for the topic and then share the screen.
Like sulfate will be SO4, right?
Yes, sulfate would be SO4 and the valency would be
The valency would be -8.
sulfate की valency SO4 की. Calculate it again, just take your time. No hurry at all. You have to practice them before going to the next topic. Can you also find out the bond between these between these components or compounds which I have given you? Like which bond exists between them, ionic or covalent? Can you guess them?
Okay. So, the difference between ionic and
Okay, I'm just reminding you the definition of ionic and covalent.
it is
Yeah.
ionic is like
Hmm.
non-metal plus non-metal.
No. Ionic is between metal and non-metal. First one is
Yeah,
always going
and
to be metal.
covalent
Yeah.
is like non-metal and then non-metal.
Yeah. Between two non-metals, there would be a bond, covalent bond. That's it.
Yeah.
So just randomly guess, make a guess as well about these compounds. And there is another point about ionic and covalent bond. If you are talking about ionic bonds, the compounds are usually, mostly in 90% cases, they are going to be solid in the state. And when we talk about covalent bond, they exist in gases. So most of the gases are usually having covalent bonds between two non-metals.
Okay, so the valency of SO4
Mhm.
sulfate would be, I think, -2.
Yes, -2.
Okay, so I made the formula of magnesium sulfate.
Okay.
Like the valency of magnesium is +2, and then
Mhm.
the valency of sulfate is -2.
Mhm.
So they will cancel out each other, so it will be
Exactly.
Mg4.
Okay. MgSO4. And what can be the like the as a whole? What could be the state, physical state, and what is it actually? Acid, base, salt.
Because it is sulfate, like it's having it will be salt.
Yes. They are salt. And what could be the state?
State could be like solid.
Yes, solid because it's a salt, right?
Yeah.
And what about the bond? Which bond can exist between
That
these two?
ionic bond is like mostly
Why?
solid. So
Okay, mostly solid, that's a 1 point. But your scoring point would be magnesium is a metal and sulfate, obviously, it's a non-metal. So the bond between metal and non-metal is ionic. That would be your preference, the point, right?
yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Um, stop sharing the sun. Okay, we have done the electronic configuration. We are coming towards another topic, which is we have done this one as well. Free radical. Okay, free radical. We are gonna cover free radical right now. Okay, this theory you have to cover by yourself, right? All of those theories according to this slides. Yeah, you can prefer the book as well. It's not an issue. They can just go through the theory as well. So we
Can
are
you
moving.
please like it is okay with you? Can you share this in the like WhatsApp group?
The PPT slides.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it very soon. As soon as I'm
Okay.
completing with this whole topic, the physical chemistry, I'm gonna share it. And अगर बीच में भी जरूरत पड़ेगी तो मैं इंशाल्लाह शेयर कर दूंगी, ठीक है?
Okay.
ओके, फ्री रेडिकल का अभी जो है वो कवर करेंगे, ये हम कर चुके हैं, डिटरमाइनिंग द इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन, सारी ये चीज़ें कर चुके हैं, वी जस्ट नीड टू प्रैक्टिस देम. देन वी हैव दिस. ओके, इसको थोड़ा सा समझो. जैसे हमने एसपीडीएफ किया था, तो यूजुअली वी आर हैविंग एस ब्लॉक इन द फर्स्ट ग्रुप. सो दिस इज बेसिकली द पीरियोडिक टेबल. हम पीरियोडिक टेबल के अंदर जो 1A ग्रुप की बात करते हैं, they are mostly having S shell. Why? Because all of them, 1A and 2A, alkali and alkaline earth metals, both metals are having maximum 2 electrons in their last shell, right? एंड अगर हम इसकी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन करते हैं तो दे आर, बस ये समझ लो कि वी आर कैटेगराइजिंग दैम एज सबशेल. और फिर अगर हम ट्रांजिशन मेटल्स की बात करते हैं तो वी हैव डी ब्लॉक ओवर हेयर. फिर हम आगे जो 4 5 6 7 8 ग्रुप की बात करते हैं तो वी आर कैटेगराइजिंग दैम एज पी सबशेल. और फिर ये आपके पास एक सीरीज लैंथेनाइट और एक्टेनाइट के नाम से होती है पीरियोडिक टेबल के अंदर, दैट इज एफ ब्लॉक. तो इसको जो है वो थोड़ा सा याद रखो आप, कि हम अगर 1A 2A की बात कर रहे हैं तो इट्स गोइंग टू बी कैटेगराइज्ड एज एस ब्लॉक, फिर डी ब्लॉक है, फिर ये पी ब्लॉक है, एफ ब्लॉक. इसको आप कंपेयर करो अपने पीरियोडिक टेबल से. तो पीरियोडिक टेबल में किस पोर्शन को हम एस ब्लॉक कह रहे हैं, किसको डी, किसको पी और किसको एफ. ठीक है, बात आ गई समझ?
Okay.
अच्छा जी. क्योंकि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन हम कर रहे थे तो कुछ एक्सेप्शंस हैं, अगर हम वो देखें, जो कि क्रोमियम, सी आर इज क्रोमियम एंड कॉपर, सी यू इज कॉपर ऑब्वियसली. तो अगर हम इसकी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन की बात करें तो आपको याद होगा कि कल हमने बोला था भाई कि सबसे पहले जो है वो आता है 4S और फिर 3D. ठीक है, लेकिन यहाँ पे एक्सेप्शन दी हुई है कि क्रोमियम एंड कॉपर हैव द फॉलोइंग इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशंस व्हिच आर डिफरेंट टू व्हाट यू मे एक्सपेक्ट, राइट? क्या हो रहा है ये कि 3D5 एंड देन 4S1 इस तरीके से पुट नहीं हो रही, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन इस तरीके से नहीं हो रही, बल्कि 3D4 एंड 4S2 के तरीके से. हम अच्छा, इसको समझने के लिए ऑब्वियसली पहले आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन कर लो, उसके बाद मैं आपको क्रोमियम और कॉपर की करवाऊंगी. ठीक है, उसको समझने में फिर आसानी होगी. रीजन सिर्फ देख लेते हैं कि दिस इज बिकॉज द 3D5 and 4S1 and 3D10 and 4S1 configurations are energetically stable. इसको समझाऊंगी मैं तब जब आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन अभी हम करेंगे फ्री रेडिकल के बाद, इसको मैं फिर ड्रॉ करके समझाऊंगी. ये जो है ये नोट कर लो एज अ होमवर्क. राइट डाउन द फुल एंड शॉर्ट हैंड इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग एलिमेंट. क्या मतलब है फुल एंड शॉर्ट हैंड का?
Like in the SPDF form,
एसपीडीएफ फॉर्म इज लाइक फुल. ठीक है, 1S2 2S2 2P. शॉर्ट हैंड में यू गोटा यूज द स्पिन रिपल्शन थ्योरी. ठीक है.
like the XYZ one
यस, एक्स वाई जी. एंड एक्स वाई जी के अलावा जो हमने स्पिन रोटेशन देखी थी ना, ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में, क्लॉक वाइज थी, एक एंटी क्लॉक वाइज थी.
with the arrows, right?
यस, विद एरोस लाइक दिस. ठीक है, तो फिर आप एक ये
And to
एक
do this, can we share this slide because
आई एम
I'm
गोना
having
शेयर द स्लाइड बाय टुनाइट इंशाल्लाह. ठीक है. ओके. Okay, before starting this one, we got a